What's going on, guys? Welcome back to #AskGSM, episode 497 here today for Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. I am Graham GSM Matthews. Hope you guys are doing well and having a great week so far. We are inching closer and closer to 500 episodes. Like I said, I think last week, we will probably go live for that 500th episode in 3 weeks. The actual 10-year anniversary of hashtag is on July 7th, but like I said last week or the week before that, I don't remember when. It's actually my anniversary with Alexis as well, so I probably can't go live that day. It's actually a Friday. It wouldn't work out. So I can't go live on the actual anniversary. We will go as close to it as possible on the actual 500th episode, which I think is the end of June. I'm pretty sure if today's 497, June 14th, 21st, June 28th, which is pretty damn close to June, or rather July 7th. So, 10-year anniversary, 500 episode celebration coming up in 3 weeks here on the channel. I don't know what time. I'm sure it will be that day unless something else comes up. I'm not sure. Keep an eye out, but I'm looking forward to it. Today, though, we got a lot of questions to answer from Facebook, and not really so much from Facebook today, but Twitter and YouTube primarily. If you want to send in a question here to the show, you can do so by tweeting me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the hashtag AskGSM. Find me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Graham.GSM.Matthews. Drop a comment on the post I usually put up on Tuesday nights, if not in the wall itself. And last but certainly not least, drop your question down below in the comment section in this very video. I'll include your question in next week's edition. We'll kick it off here with Central Man Network from YouTube. Their question was, who are your picks for the men's and women's Money in the Bank ladder matches in 2023? I've answered this already like 2 or 3 different times, but now that we know who's probably going to be in the matches, I hate to say this because I want both to win, although I'm not optimistic they'll win. Io Sky and LA Knight. Both are currently heels on SmackDown. So I'm not sure if they want to split it between Raw and SmackDown. One, you have a babyface win one, have a heel win the other one. LA Knight is practically a babyface. LA Knight, or rather Io Sky, will also soon be a babyface, coming off the split from Bayley, which is inevitable. I hate to say LA Knight's going to win. I love to say LA Knight's going to win. I hate to say that and then jinx it and then he doesn't. But realistically, looking at the lineup, there's going to be 6 people in each matchup. For the men's match, we already have Ricochet in there, who ain't fucking winning the thing. Nakamura is the only other quote-unquote favorite in there, and I don't think Nakamura is winning it. There is one more spot for a Raw wrestler. I'm hoping it goes to Bronson Reed. I love Bronson Reed, would be happy if he won it. I don't think he'll be in it, let alone win it, but that would be cool. From SmackDown, we have either let's face it, Corbin and fucking Ali are not winning on SmackDown this week. They're free agents. Ali got an Intercontinental Championship match at the Night of Champions show. I don't think he's advancing on Friday. So I think it's going to Santos Escobar and Butch. Butch ain't winning fucking Money in the Bank, and I don't think Santos is either. I'm glad they're in it, but I don't think they're winning. So, again, it comes down to Nakamura, LA Knight, or the mystery third person. I'm hoping it's Bronson Reed. If he's in it, I still don't think he'll win. Nakamura, been there, done that. Not with him as Mr. Money in the Bank, but I think the time of him. Could he still win a world championship at some point? Sure. Does he need the briefcase to do it? No. Strap the rocket to LA Knight. He's the one that's most over right now. Nakamura's been established for years now. Give the fucking briefcase to LA Knight, please. So he's my pick, cautiously, but he's my pick. And then for the women, same thing. What other legitimate choices do you have? I like Zoe. Zoe winning would be cool. I don't think the feud with Trish and Becky and Zoe needs the briefcase. It might also be too soon for her anyway. And then you have Rhea Ripley as champion. It just doesn't make sense right now. So probably not Zoe. Becky, no thanks. She does not need the briefcase. You have Zelina Vega in there. She's not winning. Io's probably going to be in there along with... What's the other... Aren't there... I think there's Bayley and Michin. Bayley's probably winning that, and Bayley should not win Money in the Bank either. So I'm going to go with Io Sky. I'm more confident in that than LA Knight winning for the men's. But those are my 2 current picks. And those are the 2 people that should absolutely win, please. Mike does it from YouTube. Their first question was, who gets more heat currently, Dominic Mysterio or Don Callis? I'm going to go Dominic, because Dominic's been getting this type of heat for a lot longer than Don Callis. Although that segment with Don and Konosuke Takeshita last week on Dynamite was great. And hopefully that heat is sustained and then get that reaction every week. That was a lot of fucking heat. But Dominic's heat is on another level, and he has been able to sustain that for many months. So I got to go Dominic Mysterio. His second question, now that WWE changed both of the two men's major world championships, should WWE now do the same for the women's titles, a new design for both the Raw and SmackDown women's titles? Yes, a million times yes. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already. What I assume happened was that they made the decision to have Bianca and Rhea not switch brands, but swap titles or whatever the fuck it was. I mean, Rhea and Bianca were both already on Raw. They probably didn't make the decision to put Bianca on SmackDown until literally draft time, because that's just how WWE does things. So I assume they did not plan ahead. If they planned ahead, this would have been done by now. The draft was over a month ago, like 5-6 weeks ago at this point, and we could have had new championships made. I don't think we're getting a belt swap. We would have gone either after Night of Champions, or we would have gone at the draft itself, or right before Night of Champions. We did not. So I assume they're not doing a belt swap, although they can't have the Raw and SmackDown titles on the other brand forever. So I do think we are getting new championships. How creative do you think it'll be? I don't think we're getting drastically new championship belts. I think it's going to be a case like with the new Roman Reigns title, that it'll just be the same design for both brands, just maybe not red and blue, but just slightly different, as dumb as that sounds. Because otherwise, why wouldn't they just keep the belts they have now, but just call them different things? We're clearly getting new belts at some point soon, hopefully. They can't go on with this for another fucking 6 months. I wouldn't think so anyway. That'd be pretty dumb. It's also very confusing as it is right now. So I'm not getting my hopes up. If one of the championships is new, that's even better. That would be great. Both original new title belts would be awesome. I don't think that's happening. But they are going to change the names. I think that's inevitable. And they kind of have to get new belts because, again, you have a blue belt on the Raw brand. It's just weird. It doesn't make any sense. And it says SmackDown Women's Champion on there anyway, I think. So I do think we're getting at least one new belt. And I do think both belts are being rebranded. I wasn't confident in that during the draft. But it's been so long now thinking that if we're not getting a belt swap, and we shouldn't, then that's probably the direction we're going in. I'm just surprised. Again, I'm a little surprised it hasn't happened already, but it's probably because they didn't plan ahead and they're getting the belts done now. They're getting them made now, which is, again, they shouldn't have waited that long, but hey, better late than never. Better late than just keeping the SmackDown title on Raw and the Raw title on SmackDown. That just makes absolutely no sense. His third question, is Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair the dream match for Stratton on the main roster, or is there a better dream match for her once she gets called up? I mean, either her and Charlotte, you could, they're both blondes and they're both athletic, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Charlotte, honestly, I feel like even a better match than that would be her and Bianca. Like, I think of Tiffany, yeah, she's like the NXT Charlotte right now in a way. But honestly, like, given their respective backgrounds, Charlotte also came from, volleyball background. Like, she wasn't on the indie scene prior to WWE. But she had wrestling in the family. Bianca did not. Bianca came from track and field, did a lot of cool stuff before coming to WWE. I look at Tiffany as like the new Bianca in NXT. And Bianca was never even NXT Women's Champion. Tiffany now is. That was also a different time with a lot better women than Bianca at that point in time. Tiffany doesn't have that same competition, which is why she's champion now, and she deserves it. But still, let's face facts here. The division was a lot stronger a few years ago than it is now, as good as that women's division is at the moment. But that being said, though, either her and Charlotte or her and Bianca. If I had to choose one or the other, I would probably go Bianca, but Charlotte would be a close second. Either of those matches could honestly conceivably main event WrestleMania. Easily. Especially now that we have two nights, either of those matches I feel it could be WrestleMania main event worthy. Not next year, maybe in 2 years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but probably before 5 years. But in the next few years, I could totally see either one of those matches being a main event at WrestleMania. And Nike only, also from YouTube, do you have a favorite Kevin Owens match in WWE? KO's had a lot of great matches in WWE. I feel like any of the John Cena matches, specifically the first one at Elimination Chamber that he won, would be on my Mount Rushmore of Kevin Owens matches in WWE. The NXT matches were great. He had a lot of good matches in NXT. I'm not sure if I'd call them my favorite, but the Cena match would probably be... It's tough. There's a couple that come to mind. That one, the Sami Zayn match, the first major one. Probably the best one in my opinion, one-on-one, being at Battleground 2016. That would also be on my list. That was an amazing match. Their most recent WrestleMania match, not against each other, which they did have as well in 2021, the tag team match against the Usos. That match was just perfectly built. The story was great. The match was amazing ending. That would have to be up there as well. Matches that came in between those, I'm trying to think, like 2017. He had a couple good matches with Jericho. I'm not sure if I'd call them my favorite, but he had a couple good matches with him. The AJ matches never really were as good as I thought they would be in 2017. 2018, he had a lot of matches with like fucking Shane McMahon. 2019, more Shane McMahon. And then 2020 was COVID. 2021 was half COVID. I'm trying to think if there's any other matches. The Stone Cold match as well, actually. The Stone Cold match was a lot of fun. I was there for that one. And I was there for the main event match of Mania this year as well. I wasn't there for the Cena one, and I wasn't there for the Sami Zayn one. I would probably go, honestly, my favorite Kevin Owens match in WWE, if I had to pick up those four, would probably be the Sami Zayn one from Battleground 2016. The Cena one, a close second. The tag team match one being third, and then the Stone Cold match being fourth. That would be my ranking. That would be my Mount Rushmore of Kevin Owens matches in WWE. At Iwagu91 from Twitter, his first question was, with Omega and Ospreay 2 and Danielson and Okada happening, do you think that this year's Forbidden Door will surpass last year's event? I think so. I think it's safe to say that it will. Based on those two matches alone, listen, last year's Forbidden Door was a lot of fun. I thought it was a great show, but it was ravaged by injuries on both ends, specifically AEW, but New Japan as well had a lot of different injuries going on, and a number of people either got hurt at the event or prior to the pay-per-view. I do think this year's show, based on those two matches alone, will surpass last year's show and be one of, if not the show of the year. I mean, seriously. Omega and Ospreay alone sounds amazing. You throw in Danielson and Okada in for the first time, and I don't think ever, but for the first time in a long time, sounds incredible. So, easily. I feel like that's a no-brainer. His next question, when Roman Reigns' dominance comes to an end, and with a new World Heavyweight Championship around, do you suppose they'll retire the Universal title like they did the original World Heavyweight Championship? I mean, they kind of already did they not? I mean, the Universal Championship belt is gone. They got rid of it last week. There's no more blue belt. The belt that we have on SmackDown, I don't think we still yet know what lineage it carries. I fucking hope not. It's not a new lineage. That would be incredibly dumb. Almost as bad as that would be if they just carried the Universal Championship lineage. But I feel like ideally you should probably keep the WWE title lineage. So I think the Universal Championship is already retired, which is pretty dumb because that's the championship that Roman had 1,000 days with. But whatever, I guess they can change the narrative if they want. But, yeah, I do think that with the Universal Championship belt being gone, that the belt has already been retired. If it's not already, then it soon will be. I think their grand plan was to get rid of that fucking championship because it sucks. The new belt sucks too, I think, but the World Heavyweight Championship belt, if nothing else, is quite nice, so I won't complain about that. His third question, is it surreal that next year will mark a decade since the streak was broken? It is surreal. It does not feel like it's been 10 years, but apparently it has been, and that's pretty fucking crazy. At noob_n_code.tv from Twitter, I almost said YouTube. Who will be Asuka's first major feud for the Raw Women's Championship? I know that everyone wants to see Asuka take on Io Sky at SummerSlam, but I pretty much prefer Bayley because Asuka's current character is all about getting revenge on the women's division over Io Sky. Is her current character about getting revenge in the women's division? Has that even been established? Asuka's a heel. So, I mean, I don't think she needs to be. I don't think she should be, but she is. So Bayley and Asuka wouldn't make much sense. We've already seen it a million fucking times. I have no desire to see Asuka and Bayley again. I really don't. Bayley's been in the title picture quite a bit. She does not need to be in the title picture again anytime soon. So no on that. Yeah, Io and Asuka, if it's not the SummerSlam match, and it probably, I do not have faith in this company that they will wait until WrestleMania to do it. I do not have faith in this company that Asuka will still be champion come WrestleMania. Bianca will either get the belt back or Charlotte will come back and, God forbid, unseat Asuka, which is a very realistic possibility at this point. You got to get the match out of the way for the championship while you can do it. I would say do it at SummerSlam. Absolutely. And other than that, as far as her other feuds, I mean, she's facing Bianca still right now. That feud is still going on. They'll probably have a rematch on Money in the Bank, their rubber match in recent years anyway, and in recent months, because they've had other matches before. Their rubber match for the Raw Women's Championship 1-on-1. And then I'm hoping Asuka wins, and then she can face Io at SummerSlam. Because notice they have not done the match on TV yet. They could have very easily thrown out Asuka and Io on TV at any point in the last year, but they haven't done it. I could be wrong, but the only time I think they've done that match was on a house show that I attended, actually, in Springfield, Mass. last summer. So I'm hoping they're just holding out until SummerSlam and they could do it there. WrestleMania would be ideal. I just have no faith in this fucking company. And anything can happen between now and then. But I have no faith that either of them will be champion come that point in time. So I would just do it now. Their next question. Your thoughts on the new design of the WWE Undisputed title last week on SmackDown? It's lazy, he says. I like the design of the new World Heavyweight title because it pays tribute to the history of the titles for the past 60 years. Yeah, I fucking hate it. It's been very polarizing, though. I've seen a lot of people say that they like it. I think it's trash, personally. It looks like fucking mustard to me. They just change it from red to blue to yellow. Like, can we just have a fucking belt? Like, honestly, listen, I don't even hate the WWE title design. I'm not saying that. But we've had the same design now for a fucking decade. Would it kill them to get a different design? Like, the World Heavyweight Championship title design looks beautiful. So, listen, it's better than having the same belt on both brands, just a different color. I always thought that was stupid, but they've been doing that for years now. So this is better than what we had before. But the new WWE title looks inferior to even the black strap they had previously. That's just me. Honestly, if you're going to keep that design, then keep the strap. Because the strap that looked a lot better, the black strap, that is. That looked a lot better than whatever the fuck they have now. I'm not a fan of it personally, but that's just me. Yeah, I think it looks stupid as fuck. Next question from the Average Grunt. His first question. Hot or cold, the current WWE title belt is great and leagues better than the spinner. The only reason why people hate on it is because WWE got lazy and copied the design for other championships. Even the Winged Eagle would be hated had they done the same thing with it. No, cold. I think it just looks fucking ugly, to be honest with you. I don't agree with that at all. I just got done talking about this, but I think the new design looks fucking ugly, specifically because of the... Well, it's ugly for two reasons. One, the color looks gross. Oh, it's not in the light. It's always going to be in the fucking light. I heard people like trying to tell me, oh, it looks better when it's not in the light. When will it not be in the fucking light on their shows? And first of all, I've seen I've seen the belt not in the light or whatever people want to fucking say. It doesn't look that much better. It's not that much of an improvement. It still sucks. It's inferior to the black strap, in my opinion. The second thing is that it is fucking lazy because they had a chance to really debut a new championship belt that they haven't had before. They haven't had a singular design. It is better than the spinner. Is it better than the spinner? Yes. My fucking right toe is better than the spinner. No shit. I mean, you can't compare it to something from 10 years ago. It is, the design itself, I don't mind. A lot of people don't fucking like the WWE title. I hate the color. I don't mind the design. And the design, it's lazy because, again, by this point, you think they would have gotten a new fucking belt. It's been 10 years. They've been changing the design of the thing every couple of years. And I'm not saying change it every 2 years, but after a decade, it's kind of time for something new. You don't need the same belt. You really don't. For the top title, you don't need the same fucking belt. And this would have been a prime opportunity for them to have a new championship made. And they fucking didn't. They did, but it's just the same belt in a different font. With a different color. That is the definition of lazy. And guess what? The new color, the new font for it, so to speak, sucks. It looks like fucking mustard. It looks silly. His next question, hot or cold, the U.S. title should be an eligible championship with the Triple Crown. And it's ridiculous that it's not already, according to WWE. So, here are my thoughts on that. I agree. Actually, I'm sorry. Your last take was a hot take, because I think it wasn't really... It's kind of more of a lukewarm take, because people would agree with you. I'm going to say it's a hot take. The second one is a cold take, because I would agree with that. I don't know if... People might disagree with that, but just because that's the way it's always been in WWE, like, oh, only the Intercontinental Championship counts as a secondary title. But, like, why, though? The whole reason originally was that the United States Championship was not a WWE title. First of all, it doesn't carry the same lineage, I don't think. I think it does, actually. I think the United States Championship does carry the same lineage from before. That makes sense. But that being said, though, it's been in WWE for over 2 decades now. I don't know when the United States Championship debuted in WCW. They probably had it longer than WWE has had theirs, but it's pretty close, I would think. They changed the rules for their Triple Crown, for their Grand Slam, and all this other shit, like literally every year, because they get new championships made all the fucking time. I'm a traditionalist as much as anyone. I would prefer to stick to the old rules. But the thing is, they change the rules so often. I don't know what constitutes a Triple Crown or a Grand Slam or a double whammy champion anymore. I have no fucking clue. So, if they change the rules so often, and the Universal Championship apparently does count towards like a world title, or the World Heavyweight title does count towards I don't know how it works exactly, to be honest with you. I think either of those championships would count towards a Triple Crown or a Grand Slam or whatever, I would think. But still, I mean, why not just count it as a championship for the Triple Crown or Grand Slam? I mean, the championship's been around for two decades now, and if they've changed it with the world titles, I'm not really sure why they wouldn't have changed it already with the United States Championship. It's been in WWE for so fucking long. The fact that you only have to win the United States or the Intercontinental is pretty ridiculous. John Cena would have been a Triple Crown champion like 2 decades ago if that was the criteria. But they haven't changed it yet. Maybe at some point they will. So far, they have not. And the final question, at Misdemeanor6, did you save me any of your birthday cake, they asked. I did, actually. Not for you specifically, although because you asked. Maybe, I assume you're asking. I do have some left over from over the weekend, so I'll spare you a piece. Their actual last question was, can you see Iron Savages, a.k.a. Bear Country, working as MJF's bodyguard/muscle? Those two talented guys haven't been on TV for ages. I could see that. I don't know if MJF always needs a group, the Firm, the fucking Inner Circle, the Pinnacle. Like, he's had groups up and down the card for years now. Wardlow. It would be a different dynamic because they're 2 guys instead of just 1, so it's not exactly Wardlow. It would get them on TV. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking about with those guys. They're not the greatest tag team in the world, but they're talented enough to where it's like, all right, it's time to shit or get off the pot here. Either fucking use the guys, or I'm not saying get rid of them, but what are we doing here? They don't even really get used in Ring of Honor. Like, they've been in Ring of Honor a little bit lately, but they've literally been spinning their wheels now for like almost 2.5 years. Have Bear Country been in AEW? They're a very impressive team, but WWE, or rather AEW, has given me no reason to really care at this point because they've done nothing except squash people on Dark in matches that most people probably haven't seen. So that would give them an opportunity. I wouldn't hate that idea. I don't like MJF already getting a new bodyguard or a new muscle. But listen, if it benefits them, then maybe. I think MJF at this point is just better on his own. But I wouldn't completely hate the idea. Get rid of their dumb fucking manager, mouthpiece. He's just so far served no purpose. It would get them on the show, and they're 2 talented guys. They would probably just be stepping stones and people for other people, like MJF's opponents, to beat. But in AEW, we know they love their trios. They love their groups. They love their factions and stables and trios and tag teams and everything. That would be another trio to add to the mix. I just don't see any obvious connection. I don't see the chemistry, but that wouldn't be the worst idea either. And that's going to do it, guys, for episode, 497 of #AskGSM here today, June 7th, 2023. Thank you guys, as always, for sending in your questions. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. If you want to send in a question to the show, you can do so by tweeting me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the hashtag AskGSM. Find me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Graham.gsm.Matthews. Drop a comment on the post I usually put up on Tuesday nights, if not on the wall itself. And last but certainly not least, drop your question down below in the comment section on this very video. I'll include your question in next week's edition. Have an awesome one, guys. We are 3 weeks out from episode 500, so save the date. I assume we are going live that day. At what time? I have no fucking clue. It'll probably be midday, so keep an eye out for that. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm Graham GSM Matthews. Enjoy the month of June, and I'll catch your ass down the road.